Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Staten Island Soccer Report, coming to you live tonight from the studios of CTV. Alongside me, as always, Frank Tricomi, and special feature guest tonight, Frank Cannizzaro, President, Staten Island Silver Lake Academy. I'm sorry, Silver Lake Academy, correct?
Silver Lake Soccer Academy.
Silver Lake Soccer Academy. Frank, how are we doing tonight, guys?
Very good, John. Very good.
Pleasure to have you on the show tonight, Frank. We're going to go Frank T tonight, I think, right? We'll say Frank T this way we don't get confused. Right off the bat, I guess, a pleasure again having you on the show. Excited to hear about Silver Lake travel and what they do for this island, how you guys go about business on a day-to-day basis. Take it away, Frank. Let's start. I guess, we should just start from the beginning. How did you get involved with soccer?
Okay, I started a long time ago when my daughter was about 6 or 7 years of age, and we needed a sport for her. And we figured soccer would be a great way to start her into some kind of a sport. So she played for Our Lady Star to Sea, and I, at that point, maybe 2 years later, volunteered to coach her and her team at the rec level. And from there, I stayed with that for quite a long time. When my son started playing soccer, when he got to be 10 years of age, I said, geez, let's do something a little bit more competitive for him. So we approached Silver Lake at that time, and it was Silver Lake Soccer Club at that time.
Soccer Club. Okay.
And Dr. Nygren was there, and I met him for the first time. He was the founder of Silver Lake. And I said, geez, I want my son to be part of your group. So we got in there. Sure enough, 2 years later, the guy that was coaching quit,
Right.
and Doc needed a coach, so I stepped up and became the coach for that team. A while later, maybe 3 to 5 years later, we split from Silver Lake's green, and we created the new orange look, Silver Lake Soccer Academy.
Okay.
It was just because there were different philosophies in play, and we wanted to go and start something that was more in tune with what we believed. Okay. And Dr. Nygren sort of agreed with what we were saying, and he came with us. And from the 2 teams that we started with, we're up to 16 now.
Wow, 2 teams. Oh.
And so in about 6 years, we have gone from 2 to 16. And there are 8 boys teams right now and 8 girls teams.
I think that speaks volumes in itself right there.
Absolutely.
The growth. I like the orange, by the way.
I love orange.
Orange and black.
Let me tell you,
Right?
it's orange and white.
Orange and white.
And when we were coming up with what color we should go with, I always consult with Dr. Nygren. Dr. Nygren's my mentor. Okay. He did so much for Silver Lake and for kids on Staten Island. He was a pediatrician. Okay. And I always go to him. I said, Doc, what should we use as a color? And one of his sons liked the Dutch.
Okay, there you go.
Orange. And my son and I both liked orange. And we wanted to be different.
Okay.
So what we decided, no one out here was orange.
Right.
So we went with an orange look.
Looks good to me. Orange and white? I thought it was
It's
black.
orange and white. And
there's no black?
Well, some of our teams have an optional jersey, which is black, and there's some orange in it, yes.
So what do you have? What's home? What's the home jersey?
Well,
do you have a home
it
and away?
varies. I like to use orange at home so people see us and recognize who we are.
Okay.
Some of our teams, one of our coaches, Chris, likes to use white. So I don't really dictate
There's no
what
rule.
they have to do.
All right. That's great. All right, so let's get right into it now. You're up to 16 teams.
16 teams.
How many?
And the leagues we participate in are the Cosmopolitan Junior Soccer League. That's basically the boroughs. Okay. We also participate in New York Club Soccer League, and we are in New Jersey as well with the Northern Counties Soccer Association. So, and we do maps for some of our teams as well.
Okay. What's the age? What do you go up to?
We start off in the travel at U8, under 8, and we have currently a couple of teams at U17. And we may go to a U19 team. We haven't done that yet, but we'll make that decision in a couple of months.
Okay. You have anything, Frank? Follow up on this. All right. Now, what's the day-to-day process like? How would you become, if there's anyone out there right now watching, like, interested in becoming a travel player, doesn't know how to get into it? Is there any dates you have lined up?
We have a clinic that we are conducting again. It's a summer clinic,
Okay.
and it starts June 23rd. It's at Miller Field. It's Mondays and Wednesday evening. It goes from 6 o'clock to 7:30, and we have 10 sessions
Okay.
that we offer kids. And it's a very reasonable cost. It's only $100.
Okay.
And it gives them an opportunity to really learn some skills, because we make it a clinic that's going to teach.
Okay.
Okay? That's the first step. If kids, they have to discipline themselves. Like anything else, if you want to be good at something, you have to put the time in.
Exactly.
So in addition to the training that you get from someone, you need to go home and practice it.
Yes.
Over and over and over.
Agreed.
Repetition is what's needed, you know?
Parents, also the parents too. They have to.
Oh, the
it's a-
parents have
it's
to
a
be on
commitment.
board.
You
Yeah.
can't expect 8, 9, 10-year-olds to get to the field. Parents have to
No, they
commit
have
themselves.
to get them there at the practices.
It's
yes.
huge. So now with this clinic coming up in June, do you select players out of, like, if you see somebody that you're interested
yes, we
in?
Do. Yes, we do. We have actually formed teams from the groups that have been at the clinic.
Okay.
We've had over 300 kids at the clinic, different
Wow.
ages, of
Okay,
course.
right.
And what we try to do at the clinic, so that no one feels intimidated, for kids that are just starting the sport, we have a beginner category.
Okay.
And we try to separate usually by age and by skill level. So
Exactly.
it's very possible that you have a 6-year-old but has more advanced skills. We're not going to keep him with the beginners. We'll probably put him as an intermediate player,
Okay.
and so that we could teach him a little bit more.
Would you put him with older players?
It depends
Per se.
on the degree of
Right.
skill that he possesses.
Now-
Sometimes we do, but not too much more. What we try to do with the kids from our travel program and other travel programs that do come to the clinic, we have a separate group strictly for
Sure.
travel players.
Okay.
Okay, and
So-
where we're going to be doing more advanced training there.
Now, I don't know, in the travel program, do they play up, or do they stay at their own
Some
level?
of our teams have kids that are playing up a
They
year,
do.
but they have demonstrated the skills that are
Okay.
necessary to compete at
Right.
the older level. You know,
Okay, this clinic coming up in June, does that have anything to do with the tryouts? Is it similar? Is it a similar idea?
it's a little bit different because now you're going to be with a particular group of kids. Okay, many of them, most of them, have not been to our tryouts.
Right.
And like I said, we are going to take it for the beginners from the very beginning. We're
Very
going to
beginning.
teach them simple things like dribbling correctly, and then work our way into teaching them some change of direction moves and actually some fakes. We're going to do that, and we always try to end it with a scrimmage,
With a scrimmage, right?
so the kids have fun. So we want it to be not only where they're going to learn something, we want them to enjoy
Sure.
it, so they want to come back the following year.
Playing a game, I think, for beginners or any level, I think, the game is what they want to do. They don't
They
want
wanna get out
right?
there.
They want to
Yeah,
get out there and just
absolutely.
play.
That's where the fun is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank, anytime, just jump in.
Well, yeah,
anything.
all the 2 teams that I help coach at the rec level in Great Kills, all the kids want to do is they don't want to do any drills or
drills.
whatever. You could be there for 10 minutes when
Yeah,
we're playing the game.
Right.
And
Oh, just to let the viewers know, tonight we're going to do it pretty much, we're going to stick with the Silver Lake program right now and discuss everything that's going on with them. We usually do a breakdown of Staten Island Soccer League with the scores and stuff, but we're going to hold off maybe at the end of the show. All right, so that's coming up in June. Do you
Yes.
have any dates on that?
Yes.
That clinic?
June
So-
23rd is the first Monday that we're
Okay.
starting, and then it's the Wednesday, which is the 25th.
Okay.
And it's usually Monday and Wednesday. The only time it'll be different if we have a rain date.
Okay, sure.
And then we'll try to make up sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And what's the website? Just
Website is silverlakesoccer.com.
silverlakesoccer.com. If Brian behind the glass could put that up on the screen at some point, yeah, you could put that up on the screen. And also, also put up the phone line if you want to. We'll have some callers call in about 9 o'clock. I would say about the 9 o'clock hour we'll do that. All right? So, Frankie, your take on
okay,
this whole...
so it runs. How long does the clinic last for?
It's a
It
5-week
does.
period, and it's 2 nights a week. There's 10 sessions. They're an hour and a half. Each session's an hour and a half.
That's good.
So it gives kids an opportunity to really get into it. And we, sometimes I know the groups that I take on, I usually offer like prizes if they do certain things. If I'm trying, for example, this wouldn't be for beginners, but I'll take a group of kids that maybe are intermediate players, and I'll say, okay, if you get the Maradona move at any point during the clinic, you get some candy. Okay, so just to motivate them a little bit, and I'll tell you, the candy goes a long way.
Sure,
You
it does.
can't imagine what that candy
I think
does.
I do. I got 2 Rugrats out in that hallway there. You know what? You just reminded me. We're going to start a new feature here on the Staten Island Soccer Report. Answer this question correctly, and we'll send you a T-shirt. Who won the last World Cup and the score? Okay, the first caller at 9 o'clock tonight. First caller with the correct answer, we'll send them out a T-shirt. All right, guys. Go ahead.
Pretty nice idea.
That's not bad, right?
No, that is good. That is good.
But the candy does go. We're not going to give away candy on the show.
No candy.
We're not going to do candy tonight on the
But
show.
it does help get these kids work until they
Yeah,
master it.
I like to go with the ice cream. I guess my
Ice
kids.
cream's better.
Throw them a shake.
If I had
or,
a freezer on Miller Field,
Yeah.
I would offer ice cream.
So, all right, Frank. Do you do any coaching?
Yes, I do. Right now,
currently.
Yeah.
Okay.
I coach my son's team, which is a U17 team. I also am a coach on
Wow.
our U11 team, the Wizards, and I've been training, doing some training, goalie training as well,
Really?
as well as working with some of the new kids that we had over the winter been training to be part of our U8 team.
Okay.
So I do get very much involved.
So let's talk about your coaching a little bit. How's the team? Give us an update on your team.
Let
The
me go with
U17 will
the
go with.
U17 team having a difficult time this year, and I'll explain why.
Okay.
A lot of new kids. In the last 2 years, we've added 13 new kids. So when you
How many on the roster?
18.
18.
So
13.
13 out of the 18
Yeah.
new. It's difficult, but we're competing. I mean, for example, we played the first place team. Staten Island United currently is in first place.
Okay.
We lost 1-0 to them.
Okay.
Now this is a team with 13 basically new players. Okay, so
Still-
we're right in it. Lost it on a tough play.
But I would ask you a question. I'm just going to stop you for 1 second, Frank. 13 new players, but they've never played before?
No, they
So-
played not so much for travel. Some guys have never played for travel, but had skills.
Had skills.
Okay, I don't take a kid on my team at that age unless they
know.
demonstrate some
Okay.
skills. Some of the kids are a little bit younger. They're a couple of kids I think could play U15,
Okay.
and they're playing
They're
U17.
playing up.
But they're doing the job, and they've all learned. And what we try to stress is ball possession and trying to get the kids to understand that concept. And it works. And if I had more time with this team, I think this team would develop into a very good team. Okay, it's just that it's tough when you get to be 17. There are a lot of things that kids get involved in.
Yep.
They're starting to prepare for college, and the priorities change.
Girls.
Girls too. Yeah. And
Right?
girls
No,
are a
I'm
big
saying
part
the
of
boys
it. No,
thinking about
I
that.
know.
Yeah.
Girls are a big part of it, and driving too. They
All
do.
the sports driving, yes. I mean, it's got to be
So
tough.
It takes
But,
away from their.
but if a child or boy or girl loves the sport, I think they'll stick to it, right? They'll stick with it, and all the other distractions will be aside. So
Our Wizards team, that's the U11 team.
getting back to the boys for a
Yes.
second, a 1-0 loss, no matter who it's to, I think it's
Competitive
still
game.
it's still a good game. I mean,
And it was a
you lost by
very
a goal.
windy day at Miller Field that day.
So blame the ref.
No. Wasn't the ref? No,
Was it him?
It was a good. It was a
Wasn't
good.
me.
It was a shot towards goal,
Okay.
and the ball hit the ground, and my goalie, didn't assume it was going to hit the ground, and
Well,
must
that
have
turf.
had topspin.
Yeah, the turf.
It had topspin.
Yeah. Okay.
And the ball just went over his head. You know how in tennis when the ball hits with topspin, it jumps up.
Yes.
Same thing and went in, and that's how we lost.
I
that.
played keeper my whole life, so I
Okay,
definitely
you
know.
understand.
I
Okay.
understand, and especially playing on that turf.
Well, this was a it was a grass field.
Was
It was a grass
Oh,
field.
it was a
at
grass
Miller.
field. Okay.
But
at
it was,
Miller.
It
All
was hard. It was
All right.
windy, and I don't know if it was the wind putting spin on the ball or.
Regardless of what happened, how it
It
went
was
in,
a great game.
it's
It
still
was a great
1-0.
game. Very
Yeah,
competitive. The refs thought it was a great game.
You're gonna play them again?
No,
No.
the season's over for the big team now.
Okay.
We're going to be in a tournament this weekend in New Jersey.
Okay.
And then that's it for the season for them.
Oh, really?
So, yeah,
They end
and
it
that's-
early. Okay.
yeah.
So what about the girls? How they doing?
Well, I'm going to mention one other boys team, my Wizards team. I
Sure.
love that little team. They did great in the B division last year in Cosmopolitan.
Okay.
Cosmopolitan's a pretty competitive league.
They play
We were-
Brooklyn? Is it
They played Brooklyn, Queens,
in Brooklyn?
you
Okay.
know,
The boroughs.
the boroughs.
Okay.
And we were 10-0 in the B division.
Nice.
We won that division. We decided to make the transition to the A division,
Okay.
and we're getting our heads handed to us a bit.
No,
in
wait.
the A
You
division.
decided, or doesn't the league
Well,
put you up?
we wanted it.
Oh, you did?
We suggested that they do it, and they were going to put us there anyhow
Okay.
because we were 10-0. But we wanted to go there and try it. And we've had a difficult time. In the beginning, we were getting beat bad. But the
Really?
last 4 games,
Mhm.
it's been very competitive. We're losing games by 1 or 2 goals.
Okay.
And these are teams that beat us. I'll give you an example.
First time.
First game, we played this one team. They beat us 14-1.
Wow. 14.
14-1.
Why even score so many goals?
Well, that's true, but they did. Second game we played them,
Yeah.
2-1.
All right. Big difference. Yeah.
Okay.
Huge.
So our guys
Night
are
and
getting
day.
adjusted
Right. Okay.
to the much more competitive level of A division.
By any chance, was the team maybe intimidated by playing in the first division?
Well, I think that was part of it.
think so?
You know,
Yeah.
but it is also the competitiveness of the teams that are in the A division in CJSL. They are a very
Well-
competitive league in A.
Okay.
B is not bad, but A is a different ballgame totally.
Now, why so many goals? Why do they have to score 14?
Well, it
do they
is
go
travel.
by-
There's no limitation like in
Right.
rec. There's a 6.
Yeah, no.
goal limit.
Even just
But
respect
y-
for the game. Number one,
Exactly, you know,
respect for the
yeah,
game.
they
Okay, that's
really should-
ridiculous.
They should really.
I
think
would
of
have
that.
pulled up.
I never do. You know, if we are leading by a lot of goals, like 4, 5, 6 goals,
Yeah.
we try to even master more our ball possession
Right.
concept.
Yeah.
And but sometimes, teams. Look, I don't have anything against them doing that. That's what they felt they needed to do to give some of their kids an
I think
opportunity
it's a
to
joke.
score.
I'll say it. I think it was a joke.
You know,
Whatever
it's
team
okay.
did that.
But you know what? I told my kids after the game, you have to shake it off, number one,
Right,
and it's a learning
right.
experience. You saw a team today play really good soccer. I told them.
Were
And
they
I
that
said,
good?
They were good. There was no doubt they were very good.
Well, the second game you shut them down.
Well,
You shut
we
them
were
down.
there. We were there
Yeah,
with them.
yeah,
So
so.
I said, you want to learn how they play, and you want to play like that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's critical that when you take a loss like this, any loss,
You learn.
it's a learning experience.
Sure.
Any loss.
Frank, it's
Yeah.
the same words I've been saying for the past 20,
Yeah.
5 years with you, right?
Yeah.
You always have to take positives out of
Yeah.
a loss. Now, that 2-1 game, let's just break that down a little bit. What was the score at halftime?
I
Do you
think
remember?
I think at halftime it was 1-1. They scored.
Okay.
They scored one in the middle of the second
All right.
half.
So you tied them in the first
I
half.
wasn't there
and the
that
second.
day because
Okay.
I had
Right.
a wedding that I had to go to.
Okay.
But my
Huh.
assistant coach handled it, and he said we played
Right.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And
All
you know,
right.
you tell the kids, and they were so proud. It was like they had won the game.
Right. Of course.
Because here's a team, and they knew that. They beat them bad that
Right,
first time.
yeah.
And they come back and only lose 2-1. That's a great feeling.
They
you know?
probably took you little light also. They figured,
Well,
it
maybe
was gonna
maybe
be a
they
walk
did,
in
and,
the park,
that's
and
the
then-
mental part of the game,
Right.
which is critical too.
that's the coach's part,
Yeah.
responsibility, I
Yeah,
think,
you
to have
can't
the
go
team
into
ready.
any game
Right.
that way.
Yeah, definitely a little letdown, I think, for them.
Yeah.
'Cause every game starts at 0.
That's right. That's right.
But 14, man, I hate seeing high scores in soccer. I really do. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not
we got,
necessary.
you know what it is. After a while,
It's
I
not.
think our kids just gave up. They got discouraged and
Yeah.
they just stopped playing, and then
Sure.
it became easy for the other team to score. And that's also a learning lesson. You never give up.
No,
Even
you
if
can't
you're
give up.
behind
You
4-0, you cannot let down your guard. You have to keep pushing and pushing.
It's the hardest thing to do as a player,
It is
to be on the field
yeah.
and see that you have 14 goals against you and
Oh
continue
yeah,
to
it's
play.
tough.
That's got to be hard. It's
But
got to be real.
I have so much respect for these little kids.
Right.
I mean, they're 10 years old.
Yeah, I know.
And for them to bounce back like this,
Yeah, no,
okay,
great bounce back.
It's a great accomplishment,
Yeah.
and they have to be proud of that. And
Okay.
in life you're going to have these obstacles, and you have to learn how to jump over them
Exactly.
and get by them.
So where's the team now? What's the status? What's the record?
Well, the record is not good. We've
All
lost
right.
every game
Okay.
except for one we
You
tied,
tie?
but the last 4 games have been losing by either 1 goal or 2 goals.
So what happens at the end of the season? You go back to B?
I would want them to stay in A.
Okay.
Now the league may force us to go to B,
Right.
but we'll address that
Okay.
when that decision is made. But I would like them to stay there only because they need to continue to play at that level for them to grow.
Competition, right.
For them to grow, they need to see that.
They'll learn. If they want to learn something from it, yes, I think you should stay.
Yes.
I think I would probably stay also as a coach. That's what I would do.
Yeah, when you think about it, you started out, let's say losing a game, 14-1, and then closing the gap to 2-1. You're making progress, so
Yeah.
you
There
want to
is some
see
kind
where
of-
that progress is
It's
going
going
to
to take
you.
us the next
And
year.
you want to, I would say maybe, from
Yeah.
personal point of view, just ride out like at least another season. Or how's the season broken up for travel? Is it like the rec where
It's
fall, spring?
Basically the same, except in the winter we're playing into December.
Okay.
In the fall season, our games go into the middle of December.
Right.
I think I had a game 2
I
days
remember
before
that.
Christmas last
Yeah.
season.
Really?
It's freezing out there.
I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
talk about cold.
Yep.
Miller Field, one game, the Wizards played this
Yeah.
game. With the wind chill, it must have been like 5 degrees above zero. I mean, that's how cold
It's
it was.
crazy. Yeah.
Now,
it's-
how many games are in the?
It
travel
varies.
season?
It could be as little as 8 and as many as 14.
14. Yeah.
Oh,
That's-
does that
Depends
depend
on the division, number of teams
Right.
Okay.
in the division.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with age.
No.
Let's
Our
say-
one of our U9 team this season has 14 games. Our U8 team, the Cobras, has only 10. The Fire in a different league has 9. So
Right.
it'll vary.
All right. So Frank, anything else?
The girls.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get to the
We
girls.
have a
yeah.
great girls program.
What age group are they?
Again, we have from under 9. That's our
U9.
youngest team right now.
Okay.
Up to U17, U18. And they're doing terrific.
And,
You know,
you're coaching them also?
No.
Oh,
no,
you're not
no,
coaching
I
them.
mean,
Okay.
I'm
So you
not
got
Superman,
two.
yeah.
Two's enough.
Two. Well, I do the 2 and I do some training.
Do some training.
As well.
Okay.
But we have very good people,
Okay.
coaching all of the girls' teams, and they're competitive. We're in Northern counties with all of our girls' teams, and I got to say something about our coaches. And
Sure.
we're a volunteer club, basically.
Okay.
Most of the people that are coaching these teams are volunteers.
Okay.
They don't get paid, and they do it because they want to give back to the community. And most of them have played soccer before. These people have gone some of them through Silver Lake, played for Silver Lake,
Okay.
come back
And they
with a
come back.
child, and they want to be part of our program and give back. And that's without
That's
that.
the beauty of it.
Without that,
Yeah.
we would not have Silver Lake Soccer Academy.
Okay.
We try to keep our costs down. We only charge this past season $550
Okay.
to play an entire year of soccer,
Okay.
and that includes a uniform. So it's very, very low cost compared to
that's-
some other clubs that are in travel.
Now, Frank, you mentioned some of the coaches. If you like to mention some names of,
On the girls' side,
yeah,
I
you
mean,
can mention
I
any
have-
coach,
I
any
have,
name you want.
One of our vice presidents also coaches the under 13 girls team. His name is Rich Cherko.
I know Rich. Yes.
Yes, so he's very involved,
Yes.
very hard worker.
Yes.
He's also another guy that has a number of teams that he works with and trains. He's
Right.
also connected to the Fusion team, which is a U9 girls team.
All right.
Now he's developing a team for next season, a U8 team. So Rich is,
Very
a
involved.
very, very
Yes.
involved person. I also have on the girls' side. It's hard, not to mention them all. They're all
Yeah.
fantastic
They're all-
people.
okay.
One of our premier girls teams is run by Ralph Porzio. He has
Oh
the
yeah,
Jets.
Mr. Ralph.
Okay,
Yes.
he has the Jets team. They're
Okay.
a very competitive team. They're playing in New
Weren't
York
they-
Club Soccer League, the
Okay.
Premier Division.
Oh,
They're playing.
he was in
teams-
Italy recently, right?
I
Didn't
think
he?
so.
Yeah,
he
I
was,
think I
yeah.
saw that. Yeah. Oh yeah, Ralph
But
is a
he's
good
got
friend.
a very, very good team, and like I said, they're playing top competition.
If you see Ralph, we need to get him on the show also. I mean,
Okay.
he's the tough guy to get in touch with. We need to get him on. Also, Rich.
Yeah.
Rich, I know from seeing him on the field a lot. Okay.
I just want to also just
Yeah.
throw my 2 cents in about coaching and stuff. I think it's great the amount of volunteers there are. The parents, of course. But what I think I'm a parent that coaches, so that's fine, and I think that that's great. But what I think I'm trying to say is I think it's great for even the people that don't have kids.
Mhm.
That's, to me,
Right.
that's like above and beyond
Yeah.
giving
Yeah.
back, because
Yeah,
here
it's-
you
it's
are. You're not just doing it for your kid. You're doing it for the good, like you said, of the community.
Of the community. I
and
mean,
the organization.
Yeah.
I try to
think
get,
that's
Frank, I
wonderful.
try to get the kids, the older kids in our program, very much involved.
Right.
Coming back and training some of the younger kids. And we pay them some money to do that.
Sure.
But, you know, they love it, and they're so good with these little kids. And the little kids look up to them because these are established players. They have great
Sure.
skills. And there's nothing better for a kid to see than these kids helping out with the training, you know. And that's what I try to do. If I have a coach there that I feel needs some assistance, you know, with the training, I'll bring in some of these kids to help. Whether there's too many kids for one guy to handle, or I get these kids involved, and they do a fantastic job with the kids.
So, do you visit like all your clubs? Like,
I
say
try to.
you
When
try
we
to-
had all our games at Miller Field, it was very, very easy. Okay,
Right, yeah, right.
I would finish with one game and then just go with my chair
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sit
Right.
around all the watch all the games.
Okay.
But now some of our teams are playing in Owl Hollow. You know, some were playing in St. Peter's.
Spread
so
around, yeah.
it's a little more difficult to do that now.
All right. So you could pick.
But I try to get to see them. But this season has been tough because I've been sort of coaching two teams and going
Right.
with both teams. So
Okay.
it's been difficult.
Oh yeah, you got your hands filled with two teams, boy. I had them filled with one team. Two. I can't imagine coaching
And
two.
especially a travel club, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, the practices.
And you know, Dr. Nygren, who, as I said, was the founder, he still comes down to
You still
watch.
Right.
And Doc is in his 90s now.
Wow.
He's 90s.
Wow.
God
And
bless.
his
yeah.
wife, Dolly,
Yeah.
still drives him down to the field.
Nice.
And he comes down there. He usually brings a sandwich with him. He has his lunch there, and he watches our games.
That's
he
the
loves
love of the
the
game.
kids. He loves soccer, and he loves the
Okay.
kids.
All right. I think Brian could put on the phone number there on the screen. We'll see if we get any calls to answer that question. All right, Frank. What else would you like to add about anything Silver Lake does?
Well, you
Travel-wise?
know, we a couple of our teams are going to Virginia, you know, during the Memorial Day weekend.
Just coming up weekend.
Right.
Okay.
Actually, just one. The Cosmos is going to Virginia. We
Okay.
have teams going to New Jersey
Okay.
for the tournaments. Tournaments are fun, you know, and I don't think it's necessary, especially for the younger kids, to go so far away.
Okay.
You got plenty of great tournaments locally in
Jersey, right?
Jersey's
Yeah,
got great ones.
Jersey.
You could go there. There are some in Brooklyn even. In the fall season, the
Okay.
Brooklyn Italians have
Right.
a very,
Brooklyn
very
Italians,
good
right.
tournament for boys. And we try to take advantage of those.
Nothing going on Staten Island, right? No tournaments for this weekend coming up? That's
Not
a
that
shame.
I know of.
Isn't that
I mean,
a shame?
there may be something with the recreation league
No, I don't think
that
there
they're
isn't.
doing.
They're
but,
shut down.
Yeah,
this
so
weekend.
most of the times no one's at the field.
Why
right,
isn't there
this
anything going on this weekend on the island? That's.
I don't know. Usually for the holidays, the rec league usually calls off all
Well, what about
games.
travels? Travel leagues should
Travel
come here.
leagues? You're right. If we could guarantee
Get something going on
that
here.
Miller Field would allow us.
Right.
Would allow us to take 3, 4, or 5 teams, not teams, but fields.
Fields, right.
Then we could probably organize something.
Well, I'm
like
sure it's permits. You just get the permits
we
for
need the
fields.
permits, and we then have to count on very good weather because sometimes when it does rain, they'll call off the whole event. You know.
Right. Yeah, they'll shut down the field. That's the bad part.
I mean, something where it would work even better, I think, would be maybe Owl Hollow, where you have a turf field. They're not going to call it
Right.
so easily. You could play in the
Right.
rain.
You could play a little
See,
bit.
we can't dictate to the people running Miller Field to
Okay.
keep the field open. If
Yeah.
they say it's closed, we
You're
have nothing
right.
to say.
You're right about Miller Field. The league doesn't have any power over.
No,
shutting.
no.
That's a
Yeah.
shame.
I mean,
That's bad. Also,
I guess there are reasons why they do it, you know, to
the
preserve the
government.
field, you know.
it's the government.
And you know, the government, I guess, has different,
Yeah.
you know, objectives in mind.
You know, one question. All right, so what if it rains, say, in Jersey? You're in a tournament in Jersey. The
We'll play
tournament
it.
gets
Usually, unless it's
washed
really
out.
very, very bad.
Yeah.
And if it's a turf field, you're going to probably play it. I remember years ago, my daughter was playing, and I did go to a tournament.
All right, Frank, I think we're getting a call. We have
Oh,
a
okay.
caller on. All right, caller, you're on Staten Island Soccer Report.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Marie.
Oh, we got Marie Tricomi on. Marie, how you doing?
Good.
Okay, you have any questions about soccer today?
Yeah, I think I have the answer to the question.
Oh boy. Oh no. Let's hear it.
Spain.
Spain is correct. What was the score?
1-0.
Oh, we got our first winner. All right, Marie. Good job.
But I want to know, how does this work, though, with Marie here on the line? Is she ineligible because I'm on the show?
No, she's good. We'll get her a T-shirt. You just got to give Brian your address.
Don't do it over the air.
All right, Marie.
I don't need any of these fans watching at my house.
All right, Marie. Any other questions?
No.
All right, Marie. You got yourself a Staten Island Soccer Report T-shirt.
That's great.
It'll be coming in the mail. Thank you, Marie. All right, I think she's gone.
Okay, so this is what getting your daughter an iPad
Oh,
for her
boy.
birthday.
That's,
Well, that-
right.
Over
You can
hundreds of
research
dollars
so
in
easily.
an
I know,
iPad.
I know.
I think that's a youth medium, right? Something like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Like a
Yeah,
youth net?
I
All right.
believe
That's
so.
no problem. I don't have that with me, but all right. We're getting back to the rain for a tournament.
Yeah, my daughter played in. It was actually Fort Dix Federal
Okay, yeah,
facility.
another.
They let them play,
And they let him play.
and it was pouring.
Yeah.
The whole day it was pouring. And I remember going there. I wasn't coaching, but I went there with a poncho.
Right.
You know, and that's how bad the rain was.
Now, you touched on it earlier, and I have so many questions, and I could probably ask you questions from now until tomorrow about just the whole travel arrangement, just being new to the whole scheme. But what determines exactly, like, where you go for a tournament? Like New Jersey, Virginia, those are the two most popular places from what I've heard.
I usually leave that up to the coach. You know, if the coach knows more about his team, he's researching certain tournaments that he would like to participate in. So I give, most of the times, the coaches really dictate where they would like to go.
Okay.
There are times, like right now, we have a lot of teams going out to the Cougar Memorial Day Tournament in New Jersey.
Okay.
It's Maplewood and South Orange. And we have about 8 teams going there. Some of the teams are going to pass on this tournament and go in June to tournaments. So we usually, that fee that we charge usually allows a team 2 outdoor tournaments. Okay, so that's also
bad.
part of it.
That's good.
So
they
now
get
you
2 outdoor tournaments.
That's
It's all part of
excellent.
that
Yeah,
$550.
that's excellent.
So
And the
now-
gym
great.
rentals all part of the $550.
Oh, okay.
That's for the winter.
That's for the
You're
winter.
talking about the winter time
Yes,
with the
yeah,
gym, right?
yeah.
Now, how does that work? Like, you get to determine how many tournaments are there, like, per year?
Well, there are a
to
lot.
choose
There are so
from?
many different tournaments, and we try
Columbus
to do.
Day.
Yeah, Columbus Day. We try to do those two.
Right.
Columbus Day and Memorial Day.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Are usually
Yeah.
the two that we try.
Those
to,
are the
to-
big.
two-
Those are the
two
big
dates.
tournaments,
And
right?
you know why? Because the leagues don't schedule games during those 2 holidays.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so it's easier to get in a tournament when the leagues are saying, okay, you guys all
You're free.
have no games this
Yeah.
weekend.
Right.
So everybody within the league is going out there and,
That makes sense.
and
That's good.
playing in these
Right.
tournaments.
Now, what are some examples of some other tournaments?
Well, Manalapan's a very good one. In
Right, that's a big one.
New Jersey, that's a very, very, very big one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are some in Pennsylvania. So there are plenty of opportunities for the kids to experience playing teams that they don't normally face
Okay.
during the course of,
Right.
of a season within their league.
Now, what about dates? Like you said, obviously Memorial Day and Columbus Day.
But there
we
are
know.
tournaments beyond that. I mean, there's one tournament,
Summer.
for example, Father's Day. And
Right.
there's some, once June kicks in, there are some
Right.
taking place in June. So,
Okay,
if
so
a
it doesn't
team-
have to be a holiday weekend.
right. And
or-
if a team wants to go on more than 2 tournaments, they could collect the money
Right.
and they'll pay for it themselves and they can go to 3 or 4, whatever
Just
they want to.
curious. What is the cost of a tournament? Just any.
Well, it ranges. The one that we're going to now, and we got a discount because we had in 8 teams.
Okay.
You know, we're paying
That's a lot.
about $500 for the bigger teams.
Okay.
for something for
Still not
the
terrible.
younger teams.
Yeah.
Some of them could be as much as $800, $900, especially these showcases.
And that's one.
One
That's
tournament.
1
2
day.
days.
2 days.
2 days.
Okay. How
Usually
many
4
games?
games. Usually
Oh,
4
4 games you get out of it. All right. Now, we're just going to get to the winter. What do you guys do in the wintertime?
Winter time, we have practices usually inside gyms.
Okay.
We negotiate a lease with the city,
Okay.
and we practice in intermediate schools.
Okay.
And then we usually either do a winter league for our teams, or
Right.
some tournaments.
Okay.
And that fee is also included in that price.
Tournaments, you travel for the tournaments, or you keep it, you're
They're
on the island?
basically in Jersey. No, nothing on Staten
Nothing on
Island.
the island.
It would
Again,
be New Jersey, most likely, that
Okay.
we get into the winter leagues.
So you definitely have games during the winter? Is it?
Yeah,
It's a
most
league.
of our
It's
teams.
like a winter league.
Well, it's either a league or a
Or a
tournament.
tournament,
And
okay.
they'll do maybe 2 or 3 tournaments
Okay.
instead of the league.
Right. Okay.
And we usually allot a certain amount of money to each team to participate in either the winter league or
Or
the
the
winter
tournament.
tournaments.
And the tournaments are the same weekend,
Um,
1 day, 2 day.
No, we usually go to the Coliseum for some of our tournaments, in New Jersey.
Okay.
And they, a few of our teams did that this past winter,
Okay.
and they enjoyed it. It was great. They faced different teams each time they went there.
What Coliseum is that?
It's in an armory. It's
Is it-
trying to think Teaneck. I think
Oh,
it's
it's in
near
Teaneck? Okay.
yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That sounds interesting.
It is.
Definitely in
It's
winter
very,
time.
very, very nice.
I just don't
And
like.
it's a turf field.
Oh,
turf.
that's what I was going to
That's
get to.
turf.
Yeah.
Yeah, the indoor tournaments and leagues that we participate in,
Turf.
they're turf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. Like the school with
The
the
gym
wooden
floors,
the
I
gyms. Oh, that's so bad.
But-
Injury wise, I'm.
Yes,
that's
and
what-
what we usually do, we buy a futsal ball, and
Yeah.
it doesn't bounce as much,
Okay,
and
yeah.
try to keep some control.
Just
of the ball.
falling on that floor is terrible.
tough.
I played on that floor myself, soccer, as a keeper. So
I wish there were
My
more
knees.
facilities on Staten Island,
Soccer.
reasonably priced, okay,
yeah.
where we could use an indoor turf kind of a field.
What's that stadium they're putting up on Father Capodanno? Is that strictly for track?
It's a
They-
stadium or just an indoor?
It's an indoor arena or something. They're building something. I think
Oh.
it's the city. It's a city owned.
Oh, if they're doing something like that, hopefully they're going to be
From what I
putting in some turf fields.
From what I understand, it's just for track.
Oh, okay.
But you got to have something in the middle. You can have a track around a soccer
Right.
field,
Well,
So I guess-
soccer, unfortunately, requires a lot of space. We usually break down our sessions in the
Yeah.
winter to an hour and 20 minutes per team,
Right.
and we usually go
Okay.
from 6 to 10
All right. Right.
usually each day. We have
6 to 10.
facilities each day, Monday through Friday.
Right. Can't beat that.
No,
Got the kids busy all year round.
yeah, you try to do that. We give them a
Yeah.
break right after the season in the fall.
December.
Yeah, December. We usually give them about a month
Right.
off, and usually in June, once the season ends, we give them another month off until the clinic.
Right after the
starts.
holiday, January 2nd, you're back to work.
As soon as the schools open up.
Yeah,
That's right.
second, third, whatever it is.
This year, I think it was the 3rd.
Right
We
back
were
to
back
work.
In the gyms.
Yep.
That's right.
You can't take too much of a layoff in soccer.
No, you can't. But you need it. You need a little bit of a layoff.
A little
for two
bit.
reasons.
Yeah.
Physically, you need a break, and mentally, you need a break. The kids
Yeah.
need to step away a little bit,
Okay.
free up their time a little bit, do some of the
Yeah.
things that they normally don't do.
And I think that's perfect timing, like in December for the holiday
Christmas,
break,
the
three
Christmas
full
break,
3 weeks.
all the
Yeah.
holidays are there.
Yeah, let them have their playtime or whatever it is that they do, and get right back at it.
Yeah.
Touches are very important,
Oh
right?
yeah, you got to do
You
it.
gotta have all the touches. Frank knows
And
all
the thing
about
is,
that.
they still have, beside that month off, it's still a break from January till sometime around March because they're only going once a week.
Well,
So
it's
it's still a
usually
little bit-
usually once a week. If I have extra gym time, I
You
usually
get more.
rotate it where a team gets a second night.
Right.
Okay, in
Okay.
there. And that's what we did this past year.
Okay.
And, it worked out great. A lot of teams, came out of it with a lot of second
Right,
nights,
okay.
so it worked out very good for them.
So what do? You get one junior high school
No,
for the week, or
we were in
gotta be
one,
more than
2,
one.
3. We were in 3 last year, last winter, and we're going to probably try to get a 4th this time around. you know,
Okay.
to get the
16
kids.
clubs, 16 teams.
Yeah, you gotta get them in
You
there.
gotta have, yeah. And I'm sure they're not cheap either, right? The schools.
Ooh.
We're not
You know,
gonna get. We don't have to get
well,
into
the
that.
biggest cost on the gym rentals is the security.
Security, right? You have to have a school safety guard, right?
2/3 of the cost is
It's the
security,
yeah, that's crazy. But
but it is big dollars.
yeah, I'm sure it is. Anything?
Yeah, I remember pricing it for
Oh, for
my
your
rec
rec
team,
Rec
and
team.
it
Yeah,
was
you
just-
got to have
That's a lot of money.
that
The
security
cost.
guard there. That's what they want. They want that guard there more than anything.
Although I will say, when I priced around, the gyms may not be as big. When I priced
The
around
intermediate
some
schools are
Catholic
decent.
schools,
The intermediate schools are
They're
decent
pretty
size.
decent,
Yeah.
right?
We don't take any of the elementary schools. They're
Too small.
they're too
Yeah,
small.
right.
Yeah.
It has to be an intermediate school.
See, when I priced around some Catholic schools,
Hmm
the cost was low, but I don't know how big the
Yeah,
gyms
the gyms
were.
might be smaller.
So they
Yeah.
might be smaller. Plus, sometimes they have other activities.
Yes, and they're going to
too,
bump you.
and,
Yeah.
that was the issue. Like I almost had a deal with St. Clair's,
hmm
and there was just too much going on in the parish, and
Well, that's
they're
what
like,
we're also.
look, we can't
Yeah.
guarantee. And I was
Well,
like,
we
I
face
can't.
that even
Forget
with the
it.
public schools. They have so many different things that they're doing within the school environment
Right.
that sometimes causes us not to get all the days we would like at a
Right.
particular facility.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're very fortunate. We've had involvement with IS 72, IS 75, IS
Okay.
27, and they've been great. They work with us. They
Right.
really know what we're all about and what we're trying to do for the kids, and they're always there helping us out.
And that helps out a lot, I'm sure, right?
Yes.
Just having someone working with you, of course. All right. What else would you like to add, Frank, about anything else that we didn't hit on tonight? I see that we got about 15 minutes to go.
I want to thank not only the coaches in our club, but also the parents, because the parents are critical. Without their commitment, without them bringing their children to the field for practices and games, and I'll be honest, some of the parents are really terrific. They
Yes.
help out with rides. Some of the kids on the teams that we have
Right.
don't have cars.
Okay.
So we're in a situation where we rely a lot on families that can
Carpooling.
help these other people
Right.
out and bring those kids to games. So without the parents really cooperating, without the coaches being willing to give of their time and sacrifice their family time,
Right.
we would be no club.
Yep.
Okay, you have to have that.
There'd be less soccer going on. Definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what you got to do? Maybe just get one of these charter buses for each team.
Yeah,
what
I
do you
tell you,
think?
I would love that.
That's big time.
Especially for tournaments. I'm
Yeah.
sort of panicking a little bit this weekend.
So how does it work? People carpool, right? They
Yeah.
they get in together and stuff like that,
Yeah,
right?
we meet at a central
That-
location.
Okay.
And
And
then the kids that
They
don't
go.
have cars meet there.
Okay.
The buses there, and then
All right.
we put them in there, and we
Works out.
take them to the games.
All right.
So it works out very nicely.
All
And
right.
again, I'm thankful to the parents that are willing to do that
Yeah.
and help out.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
it is
great.
a big commitment.
They help out the
especially-
team, so much.
So primarily 2 practices a week.
On the travel side, we usually have 2 at a minimum. Sometimes,
Sometimes
depending on what the situation is, we'll throw in a third. We get Miller Field for practices
Okay.
most of the time. Some of our teams do practice at some of the city fields. They use Brielle,
Right.
the Greenbelt Field. Father Capodanno turf field is not really available. Sometimes our teams will go there to practice.
Right.
You can't get a permit there.
Okay.
But we're spread out, but most of the times we're at Miller Field.
Miller Field. Okay.
Yeah, and Field 1 is our main field, so we're always at Field 1.
Field 1 is in the back, right? Close
It's in the
to
back,
the beach.
near the bathroom
By
back
the
there.
bathrooms back
Yes.
there. Okay.
You park in that parking lot and then
Right.
just walk in the direction of
Okay.
Highland Boulevard, and you'll come across 2 fields. One is 4, one is 1.
Okay. And again, you got a clinic going on June.
Oh, that's the biggie. June 23rd is the start date.
Okay.
People can go to our website. There's information on our
Give that
website,
again.
silverlakesoccer.com,
Okay.
and they can pull down or download a registration form, mail it in to me along
Okay.
with their check, and I will confirm when I receive it that it's been received and they're part of the clinic.
Can they pay online? Is there a website online?
No, we don't have that
That's
yet.
the
but they
old-fashioned
send in a
way.
check.
That's okay.
We do the old-fashioned.
That's good. That's not a problem.
Like Smith Barney.
Just right, yeah. Smith Barney. I used to
The
work for Smith
old-fashioned
Barney. All right, so just so you know, Frank, the show, it'll be on YouTube, so we'll get some views on that, and hopefully maybe get some people show up through the show. Hopefully we'll get some players out there. Frank, any last words about what's going on here before we move on to some scores and standings? We got about 10 minutes to
No,
go.
if I give you my last words, it'll be take more than 10 minutes. But I definitely want to thank Frank because, you know, it gave us so much more of an insight on travel, you know, being from the rec program. And there's just so many more questions that, like I said, I could be here for hours asking you. But I know John wants to get to.
Yeah, we're just going to do some scores and stuff. We're going to get Frank's, take on professional teams. You know, we'll see where he stands on that. Who do you like in the World Cup? You know, stuff like that. So that's it. We're done. Anything else with Silver Lake that you want to mention? Travel?
No, I just would like to say one
Sure,
other
go
thing
ahead.
for the families out there. Whether your child plays at the travel level or rec level in soccer, or if they play another sport, it's critical for them to get involved in something. And they got to stick with it. Whatever they decide to get into, stick with it. And even if they have difficulty initially, they'll get better.
Right.
It's practice, practice, practice. Repetition will make them better at whatever they attempt.
Bring them to the field. Like I always bring my daughter to the field.
Get involved
Aside
with
from
your
practice,
children.
right? Bring them there, let them kick the ball around,
Yeah.
do some drills, one-on-one.
The more touches, the better.
Exactly. So, all right.
It's like everything else. It's like school. That's what homework's for, right?
Study.
You don't just go to school and remember it the next day. Homework is 3 and 4. And you as a parent, you got to take your kid there. You got to make that effort.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna switch gears here a little bit. You know, there was a little article today that I saw on I think it was ESPN, that some of the stadiums, if I'm not mistaken, are not ready yet for the World Cup. What are we, like 3 weeks away? And I don't know what they're not ready with. It could be something minor, but Pele has spoken out. You know, we all know Pele. And he says, and his words are unacceptable, and it's a disgrace that these stadiums are not ready yet for the World Cup. You know, there's a lot of things going on in Brazil. Poverty is one. You know, things are really bad. And for them to host, you know, a lot of people were upset about that. A few months back, there was some rioting going on. I think protest was also going on. So, you know, let's just hope the games get off, you know, on a good note. I think Brazil opens up the World Cup.
Yeah,
I think they
it's gonna
play
be great.
the first
I
game.
know everybody's looking forward to it.
I think every World Cup is great, no
Oh, it
matter
is,
where
it
it's
is,
played,
yeah.
because you got the best of the best playing against each other, and eventually, you know, the cream rises to the top. Eventually, hopefully, it's Italy again. but no, I mean, the group stage sometimes for me could be a little, you know, because you know who's going to get through, like in group. You know Brazil's getting through, right? And I got the standings here somewhere. So anyhow. While I'm looking for that, Frank, what's your take on this year's World Cup?
Well, the teams that I
you
think
like,
have
I mean,
a really good shot. I like Germany. I also like Spain, and I like Brazil. Those are the three that I think should do quite well.
The three obvious, they're always good teams, the three you just mentioned. There's got to be, and I think there's always a dark horse somewhere around. There's got to be a team that's going to surprise people. Anybody that you guys could come up with? There's got to.
Well, my son thinks that Portugal may turn it,
Portugal? You
turn
think?
the screw a little bit and do okay.
I think they've been disappointing for so
They
many.
have been.
They're always disappointing. You know.
Right.
I'm gonna go with. I mean, Uruguay was, I think, in third. They lost a third place game for you, right? Did they lose? Uruguay, I think, is going to be another sleeper. Uruguay is my bet. You know, Italy should get through. Spain is going to get through. Brazil will get through. Will Mexico get through? That's another question, right? Mexico. What about the U.S.? We're talking about these other countries. Why can't this U.S. team, you know, do any damage in the World Cup?
Well, first
What's
of all,
going on?
you know, the difference I think between our teams and the teams that you have in Europe and other countries, we have so many competing sports here, and many of our great athletes decide to go to these other sports.
Right.
Whereas in these other countries, soccer is the sport.
Yep.
Okay,
Soccer's
and that's
number one.
where all the great athletes go. and they start playing at such a young age. We're doing that now in the United States.
I think so.
But I think it's just the talent pool is much greater in these other countries, and also I think the technique, the kind of game that they're learning in these other countries versus what we may be trying to push here too. They're more passing game. I think with the current team, I think they are trying to go in that direction. They have an ex-Germany coach,
Mr. Klinsmann.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I think they are trying to do something along those lines.
I think, speaking of Portugal, you just mentioned them. They're in a group with Germany, Ghana, and the U.S. I'll pick Germany and Portugal to get through. But in Ghana, U.S. is not. I mean, I can't see them getting out in a
It's
group.
going to be tough. It's
Are
a
they
tough
going to win a
group.
game?
I mean,
do you see them winning a game?
I
in this
think they
group?
can.
Who are they going to beat? Historically,
Ghana's
Ghana's always
gives
beaten them,
I know.
right? Ghana's always beaten them. Germany, come on,
Yeah,
it's
Germany's tough.
and Portugal.
It's gonna be
They're
tough
not
to
going to
get
win a
out of the group.
game. They're going to go 0-3.
It's going to be difficult.
It's real sad. I mean, why even
They
go?
just got a bad group.
Can they just give up their pass? Can we send
No,
somebody
no.
else in there?
Well,
Can you send one of your teams in there? I mean,
Russia would love that, right?
yeah,
If
Russia.
They didn't want
Well,
the
yeah,
United States going.
the Russians had said something about that about a month ago. They didn't want the U.S. going.
Yeah, they may get in there too.
Unbelievable. But yeah, I don't see them winning a game.
It's going to be difficult. That's a tough group that they're in. So,
their first match, who are they playing the first game? Because that's critical.
That
I
I
think
don't know.
the first game is usually really, if you lose that one, then
Yeah, then
you're
you're in trouble.
chasing. Yeah.
Probably get Germany.
I'm going to
God.
take a quick
Let's
look.
hope
I'm
not.
going to take a quick look here and see. The U.S. is going to be playing against. Oh boy, I got it here somewhere. Yeah, all right. I'll look for it. It's on here somewhere. But who do you think could surprise some teams? What's what country do you think that? There's got to be a Switzerland, Ecuador, France.
Well,
these teams.
some of those European countries are going to have a good pool of players, so they can upset some of the teams that I said, I feel could go all the way. I mean, they could be upset. You never know. Look.
Yeah.
Back years ago when the U.S. played England, I forget. I think it was 1950, right?
Right.
The
I remember.
miracle game.
That
right?
was
They beat them
they
1-0.
beat them. Yeah.
This was a team that was put together so quickly, and really, had nobody gave them a shot.
I don't get that
But
sense.
anything could happen. No, I don't either.
from
but
this team.
anything could happen in a game.
If I'm not mistaken, they're playing Portugal the first game. Could it be June 23rd? That far in?
It's right on our
If
clinic.
if it's not Portugal, it's going to be Ghana.
Yeah.
So either way, I mean, I don't see them winning a game.
Well,
Shame.
it'll be difficult for them,
Yeah.
and hopefully they can. I'd like to see them
I'd love to see them go
compete
through.
and be able to go through.
When was it? In 2002, they made it to the final 8, or 20?
Yeah, I think
2002.
I don't remember.
They made the final 8. That was a great, and they lost to Germany, I think, in that World Cup. Well, I'm gonna go with. So who's gonna win it all? Just give me a team.
Okay, I'm
before
going
we
to
get
say
off.
Germany. I've
Germany.
been saying Germany for a while.
Okay. What do you got?
Spain.
Spain. No, I think Spain is aging. I don't think Spain's gonna win it
That's
again.
what my issue is.
Right?
with
What did they win? The last 3 major tournaments?
it. Well, I think they won the World Cup and the Champions League. The Euro.
The Euro. That's 2, and they
that
won
was 2.
another one. The other one in Brazil, Confederations
Yes,
Cup.
that's right.
They
That's right.
they won the last
3
3. I don't think they're winning it again. No way. Give someone
It'll
else
be
a chance.
difficult for them.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be in there. They might make it to the semis. I think I see them making it to the semis.
Mhm.
But to win it all again, no. The pressure's on Brazil,
Oh yes.
and I hope they
yes.
choke. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I don't like Brazil. Obviously, I'm an Italian fan. I'd like to see us get our 5th World Cup.
Well, I think Brazil has the most World Cups.
They have 5.
Yes.
Italy's got 4.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what Germany has. I think they have 3. There might be another country with 4.
Yeah, I think there may be, but my son would know all of that.
Yeah.
He knows.
And
all
that's
the
why we need to
statistics.
have him on.
He's got to come here.
We
He's
definitely got to
really
have
good.
him on. All right.
Personally, I just don't like. If you don't like the home team, I just don't like them winning because I just. It's
Yeah.
like even with the Super Bowl with football. Like if I know that they're playing in Dolphin Stadium, I
Yeah.
don't want the Dolphins to
To win.
make it.
Yeah.
Just because I just
Yeah.
don't want to see the whole
Yeah.
purpose is not to have, to me, a home crowd.
Home crowd, yeah.
Because
all right.
it's at a neutral site.
Oh, they're gonna have the home
And then
crowd
it's-
the
Yeah,
whole
they're gonna
month.
have the
Well,
crowd
whole month,
there.
yeah.
You know.
I mean, they're
Well,
gonna
yeah,
be
that's,
crazy. They're
that's
gonna.
a little bit different of a circumstance. But
Well, you know what? They got the pressure is all on them, and it's never been done before. The
Mhm.
host team winning the World Cup.
again, if it was my team, I'd
So.
be more than happy to see it. But
And listen, it was in Italy back in '90, and the Italians they were good back then. They couldn't win it at home with the home crowd. So Argentina, they've
There's
had
a lot
it.
of pressure. There's a
There's
lot of pressure on that home team. Their fans are there. You know, they don't want to let them down. And
Nope.
sometimes that pressure could tighten you up.
And I think that's
and
what
you don't
happens.
play loose soccer,
Yeah.
and you lose. You know, games that you should be winning.
I have a standings here somewhere of all the World Cups. Yeah, I mean, started back in 1930. Uruguay.
Beat Brazil, I think. Won it in Brazil. I think Brazil was the host country that year. I
In
think.
Uruguay, I think. No, it's in Uruguay.
It was in Uruguay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they, you know what? I'm wrong, I guess. I guess Uruguay was one of the countries that. See what this says here? 1930 Uruguay. Uruguay was the winner.
Yes.
So there
Yes.
you go. So
No,
there you
they
go. I was wrong on that.
Yeah.
But it's not easy, that's for sure. It hasn't been done. Let's see. Probably say, you know what? Nope, Brazil. Uruguay won in Brazil also.
Yeah,
You know what?
that's
Also,
right. And that's where
what's-
Pelé saw that game.
was it
Pelé was with his dad that day,
1950?
1950.
Right.
And
Okay.
Pelé was a kid.
Right.
And he told his father, I read Pellé's book,
Oh yes.
and he told his father, don't worry, Dad,
Yes.
we'll win it the next time.
Right.
And I think he's the only
Yeah.
player to win 3 World Cups.
I think so.
Only
yes.
player.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which book did you read?
Oh, jeez, I don't remember.
Is it
now. It
the
was
new
a while
one?
ago.
Oh, it was a while. I know
It was a
he
while
just
ago.
came out with another one recently. We had it on the show. Forgot the name of it. Why Soccer Matters.
Mhm.
It was pretty good. I didn't get through the whole book yet, but all right. Another thing with this World Cup being in Brazil, a lot of European teams can't play in South America for whatever reason.
Hmm.
The records are not good. I'm sure ESPN will have a whole stat of that when they get started, but that's another negative for Italy, Germany. They don't do well on that soil. So,
Mhm.
for whatever reason, again, it's probably maybe a mental thing. I don't know. But for me, if you're a good team, you could play. You should be able to play.
Is it very hot there? Is it very hot there
Well,
during
we
the
had
summer
that.
months? Could that be a factor, you think?
No, didn't we have a professor call up from CSI saying that it's their winter? Our summer is their winter.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
I believe
So it's not, right?
So
Brian,
that's-
do you remember that? No, he doesn't. No. All right. What does Brian remember? No, I believe it's their winter there, I think.
Mhm.
All right, something like that, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe that.
I don't
that's
think it's
how it
that
works.
hot. But whatever the case is, they don't play well, European clubs. All right, let's go back real quick before we get off the air. A minute. I want to touch on Major League Soccer. What do you think about Major League Soccer?
I think it's made some great strides in recent years, and it's great that we have a league
Right.
that's succeeding.
Okay.
And, I remember seeing the thing on the Cosmos years ago. Okay, there's
Yeah.
a nice DVD on it. And it was great then. The Cosmos won it. Pelé was on that team. It's great to have it back into the United
Right.
States.
Okay.
A league that's working.
Real quick, we've got about 50 seconds. Why aren't the Cosmos in MLS instead
That I
of?
don't know.
They
I
should
don't
be.
know. Yeah.
I think they should be in
They
MLS.
may not be ready for it yet.
I hope they come in soon.
competition-wise.
Well, Frank, thank you for coming on the show.
John,
All right, it was
my
a
pleasure.
pleasure having you,
I
Frank.
love
Thank
being
you.
here. Thanks, Frank.
Thanks for being here again, Frank. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Staten Island Soccer Report. We'll see you soon. All right, girls, take over the show.